Dave and Billy Babbitt got off the passenger train on a chilly, rainy February morning in 1886 and entered the untamed, undeveloped railroad town of Flagstaff, Arizona. The place was a shadow of itself, nearly leveled by a fire just 3 weeks earlier, with the train depot not much more than a converted boxcar. Flagstaff, with its 600 townsfolk, proudly claimed it was a town where skilled lawyers, doctors, and preachers rubbed shoulders with honest-to-goodness gamblers. Yet saloons outnumbered all other businesses, and one barkeep kept his crowd in line by perching up in a loft with a sawed-off shotgun in hand. On their first visit, Dave and Billy had good reason to feel a bit unsure. Before a train clerk in Albuquerque suggested that Flagstaff may be the best location for a cattle ranch, they had never even heard of the city. The two were on a mission, representing not just themselves but also their brothers, George, Charlie, and Edward, from way out in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Babbitt brothers had already done well for themselves as storekeepers, but were now bitten by the ranching bug. So they pooled up their life savings and sent Dave and Billy westward to stake out a ranch fit for their cattle ranching dreams. After getting over that first shock, the Babbitt brothers began to see the promise in raising cattle on the wide-open grasslands of the Colorado Plateau. They laid down nearly all their hard-earned $20,000 savings and bought themselves a ranch east of Flagstaff. Needing a brand to mark their stock, they chose C.O. Bar, a nod to their Cincinnati, Ohio roots. While the other brothers experimented with different business endeavors, Billy and Charlie managed the cattle enterprise for the ensuing years. Three of them, Charlie, Dave, and Ed, had taken a shine to the lovely daughters of Gerald Verkamp, a prosperous Dutch merchant. Verkamp respected their grit and work ethic and offered them solid advice: diversify. He knew that the cattle market could turn on a dime, so he urged them to spread their interests. And so the Babbitts branched out into all kinds of enterprises: mercantile stores, trading posts, theaters, drugstores, even real estate. The C.O. Bar grew into one of Arizona's largest bands in the next years, spanning from the Grand Canyon to the Mogollon Rim and from Ash Fork in the west to the New Mexico border in the east. Billy and Charlie spent most days in the saddle, working as hard as any cowboy. They dressed like hands, too, and more than a few times even their own cowpokes took them for drifters. The peak of the Babbitt cattle empire came between 1907 and 1919. By then, they'd partnered up, held stakes in, or helped finance most of the big cattle outfits across northern Arizona. In the 40 years since they founded that ranch in 1886, the Babbitts brought nearly 100 ranches under their wing. Typically, they put up the cash while the ranchers ran the spread. For smaller ranchers, having a partner with deep pockets was a lifeline, and the Babbitts, to their credit, were fair-minded landlords who offered generous credit to their partners. The Babbitts were the first cattle outfit in northern Arizona to throw sheep into the mix, grazing them right alongside their cattle. By the time World War I rolled around, they'd wrangled up more than 100,000 of the woolly critters. The brothers weren't shy about investing in any venture that looked like it'd turn a profit. One of their more curious moves was opening a mortuary back in 1892. Their partner? An ex-buffalo hunter with hardly a lick of experience in the funeral business, but despite his unusual background, the place ran strong for years. Folks used to say, "God made northern Arizona," then handed it off to the Babbitts to run. Now, that might sound a bit bold, but it's true enough that over 5 generations, they fed, clothed, outfitted, transported, entertained, and buried Arizonans, doing it better and making more off it than just about anyone else.